What conspiracy theories do you think are too logical to ignore? Denver Airport being a fallout shelter for the elite. The fact that it went like $1 billion over budget and all the symbolism. Pretty sure I saw it here on Reddit at one point, but someone brought up the art trade. That these $1 million art shows, individual pieces that go for insanely high prices, are just a way for money laundering. 1. Kennedy gets elected. 2. Kennedy is critical of the CIA, his own VP and military for wanting to turn the Cold War into a hot one, and the willingness to perform false flag operations. Project Northwoods. To do it. 3. Kennedy is shot. 4. His VP takes power. 5. Classified. So my dad actually confirmed a popular Reddit conspiracy theory. I told him about the laundry detergent caps have the full line too high on purpose, and he told me this was true. He interned at P&G, and they taught him the full line was for the highest level of cleanliness our product can give. You can get away with using much less detergent. David Miscavige, the chairman of the Church of Scientology, definitely murdered his wife and is getting off scot-free for it. Him and his wife got into a pretty heated argument in 2007, and she hasn't been seen since. Lawyers hired by David claim she is still alive and devotes 100% of her time to work at the Church of Scientology, which is why she hasn't been seen since August 2007. In 2013, a former member of the church had filed a missing person report that was closed after a few officers had spoken and seen Mrs. Miscavige, even though there's no evidence whatsoever of this meeting. All missing persons reports now are turned down since this investigation is forever closed. Amazed that I haven't seen Gary Webb mention. Exposed the CIA for assisting in drug trafficking and commits suicide with 2 bullets to the head. The Denver Airport theory. I mean, the capstone of the building literally has the Freemason logo on it. There's some weird-ass apocalypse murals on the walls. The runways look like a swastika, and there's a 50-foot-tall horse statue with red glowing eyes. I mean, seriously, who the frock designed that place? U.S. intelligence conducting organized blackmail operations out of Epstein's Island. The prosecutor handling Epstein's old case was told to back off and go easy because Epstein was intelligence. Acosta's departure from the administration confirmed that this was not just a rumor. So as an American, I would really like to know exactly who was blackmailing who, how far it extended, and what political decisions were affected. Trader Joe's makes their parking lots small intentionally to make it seem like it's more popular. Mike Bloomberg is a ploy by YouTube to get us all to get YouTube Premium to stop seeing his ads. Some torture devices such as the Iron Maiden were made up hundreds of years later so people would think, well, a regular hangin' ain't too bad then. With all the scientists in the world, there has to be at least one secret lab on this planet where they have cloned a human. Dr. Claw is Inspector Gadget. Edit. Dr. Claw is human inspector and Inspector Gadget is obviously a younger clone of him. Nutley NJ, where Martha Stewart was born, has a butcher shop every other corner. How much meat does one small blue-collar town need? Suspicious. Let me introduce you to #WonkaPiercer, the theory that Oscar-winning director Bong Joon-ho made a sequel to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with his 2012 film Snowpiercer. My dog did not go to Doggy Disneyland because he won a lifetime ticket for being a good boy. I think that he in fact died. That karma on Reddit really does nothing. I like that people always are worried that Epstein was murdered instead of suicide. What if this was a ploy to cover up that he just escaped or paid his way out of prison? Some people had to talk about Fight Club. Otherwise, it wouldn't exist. The FBI keeps posting questions like this to see what the public knows. Edit. Why did this do well? McDonald's shake machines are never actually down. The night crew people are just too lazy to clean it. Google Maps only asks you for feedback on its navigation when it knows it did a good job. I use navigation all the time, and I find that when it gets me to the destination on time or earlier than predicted, I get a notification asking to rate the trip, but if it gets me there after it originally estimated, I never get that notification. That this question is reposted every couple of weeks by them to see just how close the public is to figuring out their schemes, and that this response is reposted every time to throw you off our trail. Typing in your email address to unsubscribe from a mailing list actually enters it into more mailing lists. Jamie Lynn Spears was raped by Dan Schneider. He is the father of her first child. The fashion industry makes too much money from purses to care about making pockets for women easily available. Edit. All the people saying, just buy men's pants, have apparently never seen a woman's hips. Jamie Lyon Spears, Miranda Cosgrove, Victoria Justice, etc. were raped by Dan Schneider. Nickelodeon let him get away with a lot. There's so many feet jokes in all those shows. A lot of the interviews with those cast members get really awkward when they're around Dan. If you got to pursue your dream career when you really wanted it, wouldn't you do just about anything? If you made Dan Schneider mad, your career would be ruined and your dreams would be over. Edit. I do admit rape is a strong allegation, but he is at least really creepy with the feet jokes. At the very least, he is a pedophile with sexual attraction toward his female stars. Ooh, time to sort by controversial. Pro tip: read the comments in Alex Jones' voice before deciding whether to believe them. Probably too late to this thread, but the idea that there are too many chicken wings for the amount of chickens sold. There is something like 1 billion chicken wings sold every Super Bowl. Where are they coming from? The US government's involvement in the crack cocaine epidemic. FYI, the moon landings were real. In fact, there were 6 in total, and it's not hard to achieve. Ronan Farrow is obviously Frank Sinatra's kid and not Woody Allen's. See for yourself. NASCAR is fake. It's just Hot Wheels going around a track, and all the sounds are made by one guy in a sound booth imitating what he thinks a race car would sound like. The true conspiracies are right in front of our eyes. The extent of corporate control over the democratic process is no secret, but we're all too busy debating the moon landing, flat earthers and anti-vaxxers. That the US knowingly left POWs behind in Vietnam. Rob Schneider pays the migrant workers at Home Depot to choke him in the shower. Jar Jar Binks was supposed to be a Sith Lord and the big bad of the Star Wars prequels. But George Lucas screwed up the directing and then chickened out after seeing the public reception of the character. See also Darth Jar Jar. Amazon Go isn't about replacing cashiers, but about selling stock, receiving tax breaks for R&D and selling marketing analytics on the shoppers. This is why the stores are placed in financial districts and aren't open 24 hours or the weekend. Their camera system is backed up by employees watching you. Google Amazon Go Chicago. They're closed right now. I believe that the U.S. government has men in black that make people disappear if they know more than what's good for them. Secret societies definitely exist. New Coke was a way for Coca-Cola to switch from real sugar to corn syrup without people noticing. Switch to the new formula that everyone hates. Keep it for a while so that people demand the old one back. Then switch it back after enough time has passed that people wouldn't notice the relatively subtle change. This isn't a conspiracy theory, but I find any chance I can to say that dinosaurs definitely had feathers and deniers are just clinging to Spielberg's image of them. The NFL manipulates its games just enough in order to get the best product out of their season because they are a business with billions of dollars on the line. With the number of billionaires that are psychopaths are similar. There must be a few super rich serial killers out there. By extension, there must be people making money supplying victims in the same way Epstein was supplying girls to the wealthy who wanted to scratch an itch. With the money, power and influence would come governments and intelligence agencies willing to overlook or cover up terrible actions for leverage. Even if one UFO sighting is real, then that changes everything we know about the entire universe. There is a reason that information on UFOs is drift through the media. The Nimitz Tic Tac is the snowflake on top of the ice cube on top of the tip of the iceberg in terms of extraterrestrial life reaching Earth. UFOs are the single largest documented unknown event in human history, and we have frocking cave drawings showing people in the sky coming down to Earth. Bob Lazar and Dr. Stephen Greer are the most well known. But literally hundreds of military, political and aerospace personnel have come forward to talk and show evidence of life and technology from outside our planet. Nothing's actually happening in Area 51. The government just keep it so people will focus on it and ignore the shady stuff happening somewhere else. My favorite one is that UFOs are just us in the way distant future time traveling. We probably developed some sort of cloaking device so we never see them except for when it malfunctions. The chairman of Samsung, Lee Kun-hee, has actually already passed away, but his family has been keeping it a secret to avoid inheritance taxes. Apparently he hasn't been seen in public since 2014. I quite like the missing cosmonauts theory. It's unlikely but seems like it could have been possible. It boils down to the idea that Yuri Gagarin wasn't the first man in space. He was just the first man in space to survive the entire process. Edit. Phrasing. Also, thanks for the gold, kind stranger. The theory that Epstein didn't kill himself. Memes aside. He could have probably exposed a lot more rich people for their 6 crimes. They just bumped him off before he could do so. The reason hot dogs and hot dog buns aren't packaged in the same amount is so customers always have too many buns or hot dogs, so they have to buy more. You actually can see John Cena. We don't know who killed Kennedy. There's intelligent life out there somewhere, just not here. The government purposefully planted crack cocaine in black neighborhoods and highly criminalized it to take attention away from Vietnam. Hitler didn't die the way history says. Marilyn Monroe's death was very convenient for the JFK clan. That Toby Flenderson is the Scranton Strangler. McDonald's trains their employees to forget your sauce when you order nuggets. This saves them billions every year. I saw once that the Titanic that sank wasn't actually the Titanic but a very convoluted plan to cash out insurance from the damaged RMS Olympic, and that the Titanic retired in April 1935 under the name of RMS Olympic. Can't find the article one read it on, but it kinda makes sense. Had pictures of the hull and some signature features that made it very convincing. A North American primate aka Bigfoot, not saying he's still around, just maybe he existed. Mattress Firm is a drug cartel or a money laundering company, or maybe they're laundering money for the drug cartels. I don't know, but whatever it is, they're up to no good. O.J. Simpson is Khloe Kardashian's father. Rob Kardashian himself didn't want a DNA test done because he knew he wasn't the father. And if you look at Khloe, you can easily tell she has some similarities to O.J. Edit. Okay, wow. Didn't expect this to blow up. Just a conspiracy I believe in. Don't want people thinking that I just compare their looks and assume they're just related. That civilizations have risen and fallen far earlier than we currently are aware, and that ancient civilizations were way more capable than we give them credit for. The whole aliens in Area 51 thing was to cover up the fact it's actually a military test facility. The Gov would rather have alien BS about that place than have other governments steal or sell their weapons and tech to avoid another war. Pretty smart emo. Princess Diana car crash wasn't accidental. I truly believe P. Philip hired someone to get rid of her and have a feeling that when him, Elizabeth and Charles die, some very secret conversations, emails etc. will come out. Madeleine McCann was accidentally killed by her parents. I don't believe they intended to do it, but I do believe they covered it up, and once the press etc. arrived they seen an opportunity to make money out of the situation. That here on Reddit we're living in a virtual prison for the mind. I think the CIA is behind the JFK assassination. That the human history is not a linear line from us being hunters-gatherers to modern human. There are lost ancient civilizations that got wiped out by some sort of apocalyptic event. That the world is controlled by select few ultra-rich. Of course it is because they are doing all the backdoor deals, making each other even more money. There is a giant money laundering cycle driven by the sale of paintings. It's just a piece of canvas with some paint on it. I may understand some people would be willing to buy paintings from the Renaissance. But modern art is definitely a huge money laundering instrument. Bob Lazar's accounts of Area 51. I tried so hard to watch him as a devil's advocate, but that man seems so convincing it's hard to ignore. A lot of memes about recently released movies and TV shows. Bird Box and The Witcher are good examples, as they're both supplied by Netflix, are supplied by streaming services. The moon landing didn't happen. The moon is still in the sky. It hasn't landed, so it might be true. Birds. Diana death was not so accidental. That we're being listened to at all times. My phone hears me when I say, "Hey Siri," and activates Siri. Same with my Google Home. They'd have to be listening at all times to hear that, right? Also, Spotify did a deal where if you have Spotify Premium, you get a free Google Home. There are also deals on them frequently, which makes it seem as though they are trying to get them in as many households as possible. Sainsbury's Taste the Difference cheese.